Hey, awesome people. Welcome, Mr. C here. We are continuing our whole number multiplication series. Thanks for joining us. This is the third grade standard, part 3, our third video for third grade. Today we're going to focus on working with some more arrays and also talk about the multiplication charts that you've probably seen in different classrooms. So, first things first, I'll show you the standard. Our goal for Math with Mr. C is making math understandable and challenging. So here we go. I've got the Common Core and Missouri Learning Standards. We've been using these for the entire unit. We are working on these types of things today. Like I said, this video, we're going to focus on some more arrays. Part 3, check out the other 2 parts that I've dropped already. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you click the subscribe button. Join us in this math journey. We love to have more and more people join us as we continue in our different units. If you haven't had a chance, the 4th grade and 5th grade standards are available. They are in the description below. Check those out so you know what is coming next in multiplication. Now, let's jump into our first problem today. So, first problem we have is 9 times 2. And before you get started, make sure you have the right mindset. Remember, a growth mindset, meaning that you are okay with a challenge, you love to be challenged, and you're okay with making mistakes. We use our mistakes to help us get better. Okay, don't shut down if you just miss a problem. Stick with it, challenge yourself, tell yourself, I just don't know this yet, and get into it. So I've put a problem up here, 9 times 2. And what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can draw the array without my help. Okay, we haven't done one like this before. I want you to see if you can draw an array for 9 times 2. Pause the video, going to give you a second to try it. Now, hopefully you've already tried this and you've tried to draw a picture and stuff. If not, here is what my picture is going to look like for my 9 times 2 array. I need to have a group that has 9 in it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8. And I can put 9 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Don't want to make a mistake there. And then I need another group that has 9 in it. So take a look here. My 9 times 2, the way that's going to work, here is my first group, my second group, third group, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. That's one way you could have drawn it. The other way you could have drawn this is that you could have drawn it the other direction. You could have kind of just like turned it sideways. So let me get this one drawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there is another group of 9. Notice either way is going to work because I have 1, 2, I'll write it above it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different groups. Either array will work. Okay, this array works and this array works. Either one is going to work because if you count how many you have total, so if you count the total number that you have in this array and you count the total number you have in this array, you should have 18 for both. Your answer for both of these for 9 times 2 is going to be 18 because either way will give you 9 groups with 2 inside of it, or you can count it a different way and instead of having, I'm going to erase this one over here, you could have 2 groups, 1 group, 2 groups, and within each of those groups, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Either way is going to work, all right? So I just wanted to bring this one up here, give you a chance. I'm going to put another one on the screen. I want you to try to set it up as well. All right, here's the second one. I want you to try this one as well. Try to make an array for it. Okay, try to make an array for it. Give it a shot. Pause the video real quick and try to make an array for 3 times 5. All right, here we go. Let's see how you did. Need to have 3 times 5. So I'm going to use X's this time, and I'm going to make 3 rows. Let me erase those real quick. I'm going to make 3 rows. So that's 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. And within each row, I need 5. So here's 3 groups, 1, 2, 3. 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, and within each of those rows I need 5. Here's one example. Another way you could have done it is you could have set it up as 5 rows and 3 columns. Either way, how many do you have inside of each array? So if you look at this array over here, we're getting 15. And if you look at this array over here, how many are you getting? Hopefully you're seeing that it's 15. Either array will work. Notice 3 times 5, it can also be written as 5 times 3. That's that commutative property we were talking about. Doesn't matter which way you write it. When we multiply, we can multiply in any order and still get the same answer. An example of this would be, here is 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. Over here we've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. Okay, either way, we're still going to get the same answer. 3 times 5 is going to give us 15. This is really important to understand, and so what I highly recommend you doing is just pausing the video, grabbing a piece of paper, grabbing a whiteboard, and just start listing out problems. Just write down some random ones. Do 1 times 4. Do 2 times 6. Do 3 times 4. All right, do 5 times 7. Just do random problems and draw them out and see what you get. Because the more you practice it, the more you get used to drawing arrays, the better you're going to get at this, and the quicker you're going to learn your multiplication facts. And the quicker you can learn your multiplication facts, the quicker we can start moving you on to more and more challenging things. So pause the video, try a few on your own, and then I've got another thing I want to talk about with you. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about with you today is a multiplication table chart. And this is something you've probably seen in some of your classes already. If you've ever been into another class or even your classes at school, you've probably seen something like this. And this is something that is really helpful when you're learning your multiplication tables. Okay, when you're learning your different facts. And the way that this works is that when you look at this type of chart, it's showing you the different multiples of each number. And so if you look right here where we have this 1, in order to get this 1, we did 1 times 1, and that gives us 1. If you go down here to this 2, we did 2 times 1, and that gives us 2. This 3 times 1, and that gives you 3. So if we go to, let's say right here where this 10 is, in order to get this 10, we have to take 2 times 5 to give us 10. And this is just where you're going to be moving towards once you have mastered different arrays. Okay, once you learn how to set up arrays, you're going to get better and better to where you're not going to need to draw pictures. What you're going to do is you're going to get to the point to where you can look at numbers and skip count to get your answer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So what's going to happen is eventually you're going to get to the point where you can look at a problem like, let's say 3 times 10, and you're going to be able to think to yourself, all right, Mr. C, I can draw an array. I know how to draw an array. That's easy, or I'm ready for a challenge. Give me something. And my next step for you would be, okay, Can you skip count? Are you able to skip count by either of these numbers? If so, which of these numbers would be easier to skip count by? Well, right off the top of my head, skip counting by 10 is a lot easier. So I would go 10. What comes after 10? 10, 20, 30. What's 3 times 10 equal? 30. You could do 3, 6, 9, 12, and keep skip counting by 3s all the way till you get to 30. It's going to take you 10 times, which is going to take you a lot longer, but it's doable. All right, let me show you another one. Let's say you had the problem 6 times 5. And you don't want to draw an array for it because you're ready for the next challenge. Well, your next challenge is to be able to skip count by either of these numbers in your head. Okay, skip count by either 5 or by 6. If I'm skip counting by 6, then it's going to be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Let's make sure that's 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's skip count by 5. How many times am I going to skip count by 5? 6 times. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's 6 times 5 equal? Well, 6 times 5 is going to equal 30. All right, that's your next step. That's the next progression in your learning. Once you understand those arrays, now you're going to start just multiplying. You're going to start looking at problems and writing it down and skip counting by it. All right, let me give you one last one to finish us with. All right, last one here that I want us to finish with is going to be 8 times 4. All right, I want you to figure out what numbers you can skip count by here. All right, think to yourself, which one are you going to skip count by? Hopefully, you can think of one that's a lot simpler for you to use. I'm going to show you both ways though, because I want you to be able to do it both ways. Let's skip count by 8. Okay, let's skip count by 8. How many times do we skip count by 8? It tells us right here, 4 times. So we've got 8. What's next? 16. What's next? 24. What's next? 32. Let's make sure we did it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're getting for 8 times 4, we're getting 32 if we skip count by 4. Now let's skip count, when we skip count by 8. Now let's skip count by 4. How many times are we going to skip count by 4? 8 times. So 4, 8, what's next? 12, what's next? 16, what's next? 20, next? 24, next, 28, next, 32. Make sure that's 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which of these two ways was quicker? Skip counting by 8 was a lot quicker. Did we get the same answer for both? Ding, ding, ding. Yes, we get the same answer for both. You need to be able to do it both ways. All right. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where like 8 is way easier to skip count by. It takes me less time. 8, 16, 24, 32, and that's what you're going to go with. But for right now, what we're doing is we're showing you that if you know how to set up an array, if you know how to draw that picture, then your next step is to start multiplying like this. So pause the video, rewatch it if you need to, grab a whiteboard, grab a piece of paper, start trying some of these problems on your own. The more you practice, the better you're going to get, because having a growth mindset means that you're ready for a challenge and you're okay with making mistakes. All right, I've got another video here dropping soon for 3rd grade. It'll be part 4. Make sure you tune into it. Click the subscribe button. Join us in this math journey as we continue making math understandable and challenging. That's all I have for you today. Mr. C out.